you got a minute? I want to tell you a story. I'm sitting at this table, and I couldn't help but remember my first day of kindergarten. I was doing pretty good the whole day. I knew my colors, I knew the letters, I knew my numbers, but then it was time to go to lunch. So you might be thinking that's the easiest class period of the day, but for 4-year-old me, that was pretty difficult. So we go to lunch, and I remember that they gave me a tray. And when they gave me this tray, they put me in a long line, and I could smell the aroma of the food from inside of this cafeteria room. And so finally, after waiting in the line ever so long, it was my turn to be close to the food. And I was excited. I remember clear as day seeing mashed potatoes in there, and seeing corn in there, and seeing white gravy in there, and seeing chicken tenders in there, and seeing rolls in there, and seeing milk in there. And I made up my mind that I wanted some of all of that stuff. So here I am, 4-year-old me, and I'm in line, and I see all these things that I want. And so finally, I'm standing in front of the mashed potatoes, and this odd lady with a mustache comes out, and a hairnet on her head, and an apron, and she looks down at me, and she reaches for my tray, and I grab my tray because I'm a big kid, and I don't need any help fixing my plate. And so, I just stood there and held my tray, and before long, the line started moving again. And out comes this strange lady with the mustache and the hairnet and the apron, and she reaches for my tray, and I grab my tray because after all, I'm a big kid, and I don't need anybody else to be holding my tray for me. And so before long, the line moves again, and now we're in front of the chicken tenders. We're in front of the chicken tenders, and I'm so excited about that. But before long, here comes this mean old lady. She comes back. She has her mustache is even thicker now. She has a net on her head. She has an apron on her head. She tries to take my tray from me, and I grab my tray because I'm 4 years old. I don't need any help making my tray. And before long, I'm out of the line, and I'm the only kid with absolutely nothing on my tray. I'll never forget it as long as I live. My face turned red. I started to cry. I started to pout. I started to whine. I started to scream. But my first grade teacher came back, and she said, "Marquisha, what is the problem? What is it? What is wrong with you? What are you crying for?" I said, "Well, for some reason, that mean lady in there, she didn't give me anything to eat." My teacher said, "Surely that's not the case." She takes me back into the line, and lo and behold, I see the mashed potatoes, I see the corn, I see the chicken tenders, I see the rolls, I see the milk, and before long, I see the lady with the mustache and the apron and the hairnet. And here she comes again, and she reaches for my tray, and I snatch my tray back because I ain't no punk, and I'm 4 years old, and I can make my tray myself. And she looked me in my eyes, and she said something I'll never forget as long as I live. She looked me in my eyes, and she said, "Baby, I can't put nothing on it till you turn it loose." And it was in that moment that I finally found the courage to give her what I was holding on to. It was in that moment at 4 years old that I learned that there are some things that can't get built, and that can't progress, and that can't reap until you're willing to release them into the right hands. And I didn't tell you that story to make you sad or to make you laugh. I didn't tell you that story to talk about the lady with the mustache at my elementary school. I told you that story because God wants you to know in this moment that you would be surprised what He can permanently bless because you're willing to temporarily release. And for me, it was a lunch tray. But for you, it's your heart. For you, it's your vision. For you, it's your job. For you, it's your family. For you, it's your relationship. But God is saying to you right now in this moment, you'd be surprised what I could put on it, what I can put in it, if you're willing to turn it loose. And so that's my prayer for you today, that you're willing and that you're strong enough to be vulnerable enough to release what you're holding, not because you're never going to have it again, but eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what God is going to do with what you're willing to temporarily release.